We recently got some heartfelt but bittersweet comments from a Downton Abbey 3 star when asked about the final chapter. As we already know, Downton Abbey 3 is set in the 1930s, right in the middle of the Great Depression. But what major historical events from that era could make their way into the movie? That's Downton Abbey 3. First off, let's break down what's meant by Downton Abbey 3 star has sad but touching comments when asked about the final chapter. At this point, Downton Abbey feels like a franchise that could go on forever. It's been 15 years since it debuted as a beloved TV series that made its way across the Atlantic and won over a big American audience. But if you take the cast and crew at their word, Downton Abbey 3 is set to be the final chapter of this historical drama that's followed the lives of various families and social classes at the turn of the 20th century. With that in mind, the vibe on set was understandably bittersweet. Michelle Dockery, who's played Lady Mary Crawley since day one, recently chatted with MovieWeb about returning for Downton Abbey 3, which hits theaters on September 12, 2025. Reflecting on the journey, Dockery said, "Well, I mean, going into this last one was like..." And then she paused thoughtfully. "First off, to do one film was incredible for us. To now look back and realize we've done a series and 3 movies, it's just incredible. None of us ever saw that coming." She went on to say, "Going back into this one was like it always is. It's like stepping back into a family again. We're all so close and the atmosphere is amazing. To return to something so familiar is actually quite rare in a career. But knowing it was the last made it feel different, you know? It made me really savor every moment as much as possible. It's my home away from home, and even though this chapter is ending, it'll live on forever." Of course, Dockery isn't the only familiar face returning. Hugh Bonneville, Elizabeth McGovern, Laura Carmichael, Jim Carter, Phyllis Logan, Robert James Collier, Paul Giamatti, Alan Leach, Penelope Wilton, and Joanne Froggatt are all back. Plus, there are some exciting new additions like Jolie Richardson, Alessandro Nivola, Simon Russell Beale, and Artie Frusciante. Simon Curtis is also returning to direct after his success with Downton Abbey: A New Era, which wowed critics and fans with an 86% critic score and a 97% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Curtis, known for his heartfelt hits like My Week with Marilyn and Goodbye Christopher Robin, seems like the perfect person to wrap up this beloved series, which was first launched back in 2011. Meanwhile, Michelle Dockery has a new project lined up. She stars in the upcoming action thriller Flight Risk, directed by Mel Gibson. The film, set on a small plane, sees Dockery as a U.S. Marshal escorting a prisoner while dealing with a psychotic Mark Wahlberg. It's slated to hit theaters on January 24, 2025, courtesy of Lionsgate. Downton Abbey 3 is set to take place in the 1930s, right in the middle of the Great Depression, which means the movie is likely to explore one of the most challenging periods in modern history. The previous movie, Downton Abbey: A New Era, wrapped up in 1929, just before the Great Depression officially began. And a state. Can Downton Abbey adapt to a rapidly changing world, or is it doomed to become a relic of the past? This financial crisis will likely bring challenges far beyond what the Crawleys ever imagined. It's one thing for society to view them as outdated, it's another to face a full-blown financial disaster in the 1930s. The Great Depression is bound to hit the Crawleys' wealth hard, potentially threatening their entire way of life. Remember, this wasn't just a US problem, it had a ripple effect across the globe, including in the UK. With Downton Abbey located in England and the Crawleys maintaining ties to American family members, the crisis is sure to affect every aspect of their lives. Luxuries like extravagant clothes, lavish meals, and grand parties could become a thing of the past. Many real-life wealthy families had to downsize or make sacrifices during this time, and since the Crawleys are based on a real family, they might face similar struggles. One of the most heartbreaking consequences of the Crawleys losing their wealth is the potential impact on their staff. The household staff has always been a huge part of Downton Abbey, and these characters are some of the franchise's most beloved. But if the Crawleys can no longer afford to keep their staff, those employees could face uncertain futures. Finding new work during the Great Depression would be no small feat, as many other families were also struggling to make ends meet. While the Crawleys might survive without their grand lifestyle and the help of their staff, the same can't be guaranteed for the employees themselves. In the worst-case scenario, the Great Depression could spell the end of Downton Abbey as we know it. Losing their wealth could make it impossible for the Crawleys to maintain their sprawling estate, which is more like a castle than a typical home. Just think about it. If middle-class families struggled to afford basic necessities during this time, how could the Crawleys possibly manage the upkeep of such a massive property? Even though they've always been portrayed as a wealthy family, their money isn't endless, especially in a financial crisis like this. And with Downton Abbey 3 confirmed as the final movie, the idea of the Crawleys losing their home would make for a pretty emotional farewell. There's also the question of what happens to Lady Mary and her children if the family has to leave Downton. The estate has always represented stability and security for the Crawleys, promising a safe and comfortable future for generations to come. But if they're forced to leave, that sense of security could disappear. Lady Mary, as the legal heir to Downton, has always been deeply connected to the house and everything it stands for. If her children can't grow up there, it would mark the end of an era, not just for the Crawleys, but for everything Downton Abbey has come to symbolize. Fans won't have to wait too long to find out how this all plays out, as Downton Abbey 3 is set to release in September 2025. The movie could take a tragic route, reflecting the harsh realities of the Great Depression, or it might offer a more hopeful outcome, where the Crawleys and their staff find a way to persevere. Either way, it's sure to be an emotional ride. The franchise has always excelled at combining heartfelt storytelling with historical drama, so there's no doubt this final chapter will give the Crawleys and the fans the ending they deserve. Whether the family can hold on to their home or not, Downton Abbey 3 will bring everything full circle, wrapping up the story of the estate, its staff, and the Crawleys with the care and grace the series is known for. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you want to keep up with all the latest updates on your favorite movies and TV shows, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. Especially because I've got more updates on Downton Abbey 3 coming your way soon, along with news about other series and films you love. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you in the next one.